Hey, welcome back, and thank you again for joining us for this special broadcast here at South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs. My name is David Roselle. I'm the Director of Operations here for South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs, and we're honored today to be hosting a phone bank here for the survivors' families to call in with questions regarding the PACT Act. And I'm supposed to say, and please call in, but I'm telling you, every phone is on the line right now with folks that have called in, because we gave you a little warning, and then we already gave a good update on what it is, but we're going to do it again. And so the number to call is 803-734-0200. I think it's on the bottom of your screen over here somewhere. So look at that, or dial 1 if you're calling from a landline, 1-803-734-0200. The phone bank is open. They're on the phone. But if we can't get to you, we're going to call you right back. We're going to continue to receive calls through the evening. We partnered here with the Columbia VA Regional Office, my friend Marlon, the American Legion, and WS News 10's United for Veterans campaign to make this all possible. Yeah. For all of them, I want to say thank you, because this has been great for the last hour. We're going to continue to roll on as we go. But WS News 10 in Columbia will be broadcasting this live. They start at 4 o'clock. They're going to go to 7 o'clock. We're going to keep the phone lines open until 7:30. So continue to call in. Regardless of where you live in the state, if you live outside the Columbia area and you don't get WS News 10, then continue to call from wherever you are. You're seeing us on Facebook and our other social media hits. So please call in or call for your family member if they live out of state, and you can ask the questions as well. But right now, I got my good friend Marlon Hines here. I had to look because I almost forgot your name, even though we're old friends. I'm the Columbia VA Regional Medical Center. So thanks for being here today. But we want to catch people up on the basics of the PACT Act. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions, if you don't mind. Marlon, what is the PACT Act? What changes are involved? And what are presumptive conditions? And we'll go through each of those one by one.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for having us again. And thanks for allowing us to share our wealth of knowledge. And so I'll give you a technical name of the PACT Act, but really what we want to encourage veterans to do is be active in their own care and in their own compensation. So the PACT Act really is a technical term. The Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson, the Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxin Act of August 10th, 2022. That act expands VA healthcare and compensation for generations of veterans. They're both their survivors and dependents to those that have earned and deserve these rights.
That's great. All right, let's do an overview. What changes are happening because of the PACT Act?
So some of the major changes, as you can see, there are a few bullet points on the screen, but what we don't want to do is really get verbatim of what's on the screen. But they've added at least 20 or more disabilities to the law that allows veterans to file a claim, whether they were exposed to burn pit, Agent Orange, and other toxins.
All right, Marlon, and by the way, we know that you can't see the screen real well, so you can go to our website and you can find the slides. It's on va.gov/PACT, and you can get it right off the screen. So I appreciate that. And then let's talk about presumptive conditions. Marlon, what's a presumptive condition? I don't even know what that means.
Well, really what VA does is a law is passed, and that law gives us ownership. And the ownership of that says that if a veteran has a particular service in a certain location, certain date, we presume that they were exposed to a toxin in that area that we recognize. And then if they have a disability that is on that list, what we say is, since you were in that location, that specific time period, and you have a disability on that list, VA will own that and say that, please, if you file a claim, that we can grant you service connection for that.
That's fantastic. And I got to say, we're having to talk over each other, which is great. We got a great problem in the room, and that's because every phone is ringing and full of people asking questions. Anything else we want to cover on presumptive conditions, or do we just send them to the website, you think?
Well, I think we send them to the website.
All right, well, then let's talk about when can I expect VA to make a decision? How long does it take? When I go in and file, how long does it take?
Well, it varies from case to case and veteran to veteran. And so one of the things we want to cover before that is this August 9th deadline, if that's okay.
Oh, please. Yeah. The intent to file, right?
Yes. Yeah. So when the law was passed August 10th, 2022, what it did is it gave VA a year to August 9th, 2023 to pay retro payment back to the date of the law. Now, if that August 9th date comes and is gone and you have not filed, it does not stop you from filing, but then you will not be entitled to that back pay, that potential retro pay.
Retro pay.
And I think that would be a disservice to veterans if they don't file. So that's why we're out here now trying to ensure that they're aware. File a claim, file an intent to file, which would allow us to backdate that if we're able to grant.
So when we say time's running out, we mean time's running out because August 9th's coming.
Yes, time is not on our side, and that time is specific to the retro pay and the potential of the retro pay. So we're asking veterans to please file a claim today, tomorrow, but file it as soon as possible.
Okay, and once it's filed, we get that intent to file, gets the file in. How long does it take to get the information? How long does it take to get the decision?
Okay, so there is a little difference in the file, the time period. So some of it could be based on the veteran's file, the ask of the veteran to claim and disability. It could be 90 days, or it could be 120, 160 days. We want to ensure that each veteran file and each veteran claim and each veteran, the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and that they understand that we do care about them. They're more than a file number, and we're taking our time. That ensuring that they receive all the benefits they're entitled to.
We want to make sure we get it right. So the
first time around.
It's a process. Okay. So one of the things I don't understand, I've filed with the VA, but what is this toxic exposure screening that needs to be done?
Okay. So toxin exposure screening, it's a healthcare, Veteran Health Administration function. And that screening can be done either through your primary care or a designee from the hospital. And there's different parts of that screening. And the best thing for a veteran to do is reach out to their primary care at a hospital. Now, if they're not registered at a hospital, we encourage them to go ahead and go into the nearest VHA, get registered, get enrolled in eligibility, and determine their eligibility, and get that screening done. That screening helps us to kind of gather data and see what's going on with our veteran population. And the most important is actually treat any illness and injuries that is found due to that.
That's fantastic. So let's talk about getting compensation payments. So how does that work? Is that going to happen? They call today, there's going to be compensation payments?
Good question. So today is more about information gathering, pointing veterans in the correct direction, maybe even giving them a point of contact specifically to answer more detailed and in-depth question. And so when we want to start talking about payments, you won't receive it today. You have to file, allow VA to go through that process, and then at the end of that process where the decision is made, that's when it's determined, that payment side of it.
Talk quickly about this DIC claim piece.
DIC is for surviving spouses. And so if a veteran, specifically if we talk about the PACT Act, if a veteran would have been eligible based on the criteria for the PACT Act, then what we can do is grant that spouse that benefit on the DIC side, which allows us to pay that spouse in return instead of paying that veteran who's no longer with us.
That's important to know. And then what other VA benefits can I be eligible for? What things can I ask about today?
Well, there's a plethora of benefits that you can be eligible for, or even a surviving spouse can be eligible for. And some of those benefits are education and training, healthcare, and for dependents, there's a CHAMP VA. So it's not just you receive compensation, but based on the level of compensation, you can also receive medical care for your dependents. And if a veteran is no longer with us, unfortunately, we can still take care health-wise of that dependent if they're receiving DIC.
And every day we get phone calls about the VA-backed loans, right? And so that's always a question. Am I eligible for the loan? So if you got a question about your eligibility, you got a question about PACT Act, that's what we're receiving calls today. So as I walked around the room and looked at the phone rosters, about a third of our calls so far about the PACT Act. We want you to call about that because we got a suspense on that. We can answer all those other things, but we can answer many of those things on our website. If you go to scdva.org or you go to the va.gov PACT website, all of that has the information. But these counselors are here today to talk you through and answer your questions specific to the PACT Act. But we will answer anything you want to know. I think that wraps. I went too far. I think that wraps it up there, Marlon. But just want to actually give another thanks to everybody. If you joined us and you haven't heard the phone number and you haven't looked at the bottom of your screen, it's somewhere over here by Marlon. All right, but it's 803-734-0200. 734-0200 with the 803 area code. Give us a call. We're here till 7. We're going to be on TV till 7. 7:30, they'll continue to answer the phones, and you can continue to contact us throughout because you can get us on our website. So again, want to thank our partner, especially WS News 10 in Columbia, for delivering this for us today.
Yes.
Absolutely important to get out there and share it with your friends, call your family members. If there's somebody that you think is eligible, let's get it initiated because we are running out of time.
Yes.
If you heard anything today, it's about running out of time. But thank you, and we'll see you out there.